Week 16's here. That means it's episode 16 of the year for the Hurry Up podcast. It's TJ Winger alongside Mason this week. No JT. He has a lot of big work stuff to be done. He's got to flex for the VP of his company. So, all due respect, gotta give him his props there. No JT this week, but we do have Mason back again this week. So it's been a little bit since we had on the show. Mason, how have the last, 14 days treating you?
Busy, man. Trying to keep up with work, same as JT, but I'm a teacher, so only a couple more days, but happy. Football's been going well. Patriots have been doing their job, so I'm trying to get that first pick, so we'll see how it goes.
No doubt. And, you just like me, newfound puppy parents, so yep. That's a joy and also a handful. Well, you just kind of mentioned the Patriots, so I don't think I talked about it last week with JT because, we recorded and then the firing happened after the Thursday night game, so we haven't talked about it here on the show yet, but Brandon Staley and Tom Telesco. We've talked ad nauseum that Staley needs to go. We've talked about that in a lot of prior episodes. Telesco also being gone, to me, kind of solidified that they want to go after Bill Belichick and give him roster control. So I got to turn it over to the Patriots fan. Do you think my rumor or, my buy into that rumor, are you in on that as well? Or do you think he's back in New England next year? Or do you think he goes for another team?
I definitely don't think he'll be back in New England. I was thinking he was just going to hang him up. But as the Chargers side of things, I kind of feel like everything's kind of fizzling out the way they wanted to. They fired the coach, they fired the GM, and now you got Bill Belichick coming in next year. So I'm kind of a buyer now at this point. But I mean, after getting absolutely smoked on national television against the Raiders, like you got to go. Like it was coming. So,
and I mean, I think there's a lot of draws there. Like for a guy who he coached in Cleveland, he was an assistant in New York, head coach in New England for so long. Like chance to go to LA has got to be appealing just to get away from the cold. And then also like Justin Herbert of it all. Like obviously this is his chance to get an elite quarterback again. So, and the Chargers defense has been putrid, and even with backups like Bill Belichick still doing his thing there. So I think there's a lot of validity there. And then once I saw Telesco went down, I was like, okay, yeah, they might be able to give him roster control, which is interesting. But I don't rule out Carolina either. I think Dave Tepper is just looking to make the biggest splash possible. Mm-hmm. And that might be the one move where he'll be like, I will step out of the way. Bill Belichick, here's your team. But does he want to go to Carolina, though?
Dude, that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's too similar to...
I'd rather retire.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, and then I don't think Washington, I don't think Harris will be able to pull that off. So it kind of feels like LA, or maybe he hangs it up for Belichick. But
yeah, it'd be interesting to see it play out. So
fun times, man. And I think there's going to be a lot more head coaching jobs that come open. So who knows? Maybe there's someone we're not thinking about just yet. So anyways, we're here to preview all of the Week 16 NFL action. So Mason, if you're ready, let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting with Thursday Night Football. Saints and Rams. Saints coming off a really strong game. And man, I've been really impressed with the Rams offense of late. LA favored by 4 at home. Mason, who do you like here?
Give me the Rams.
Yeah.
I think they'll win by more than 4, dude. Like you said, their offense has been clicking. I think they're in the playoffs at this point, right?
Yep.
They're in playoffs. Yeah. So they've been clicking. They've been playing well. I think they continue that at home this week against the fraudulent Saints. Even though the Saints won last week, don't think they can keep it going again. So give me the Rams.
It did come against Tommy DeVito, which I know has been like a cute story and all, but like that was going to be a balloon that popped eventually. So I think the Saints were just there when it did. I'm with you. I love what the Rams are doing right now, and it really just shows that like there's holes in that roster. But if you have a quarterback who can do what Sean McVay wants, you have Sean McVay, you have a couple of receivers, you can make that offense click, and then you throw in like an Aaron Donald on their side, like you could be good enough. You could be good enough, and that's kind of where they're at right now. So I'm with you. I'm taking the Rams and laying the 4 points. So then we get back to Saturday football, and once again, my Pittsburgh Steelers have to be seen on an island game. 4:30 on Saturday. They're coming off the loss last week to Indianapolis, and now they get to take on the Cincinnati Bengals, who won last Saturday. I'll be quick here as the resident Steelers fan. Mason Rudolph is not going to provide a spark here. This is not going to turn the season around. The Steelers have too many fundamental flaws. As my dog goes crazy, apologies, you can hear that. I'll take the Bengals to get the win on the road. They are favored by 1.5, though, just so that is known. So, Mason, who do you like here?
Is it Mason Rudolph under center this week?
Yep, it's official. Mason Rudolph's going to be starting.
Yeah, I got to go with the Bengals then. Sucks though, as a Steelers fan. Like you guys were kind of controlling your own destiny a couple of weeks ago, and then you dropped one to the Pats. You dropped one last week. And now you're kind of just like, gotta win these next games. You need some help. So I don't see that happening. I think the Bengals keep it rolling on the road. Browning looks good, man.
Yeah, he really does, man. And I mean, we'll see about Jamar Chase. But even outside of Jamar Chase, like T. Higgins is someone that Joey Porter Jr. has the physicality to hang with him, but he's also really grabby. And then Tyler Boyd, like, would still be a mismatch problem for the Steelers. So, and I had said this last week to JT, but like the Steelers won a couple of games early on that they had no business winning.
Right.
But then losing the Patriots and the Cardinals just felt like the football gods being like, let's just get that back on track. A couple losses here. So, it is what it is. Here's a fun stat for you. The Steelers have had 3 straight years with a 3-game losing streak inside of it for the first time since the 1940s. That's kind of wild.
Yeah,
Which,
that's
wild.
wild.
3-game losing streak. I mean, San Francisco lost 3 in a row earlier this year.
The Eagles just lost 3 in a row. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, but doing it 3 years in a row, I think is more of the issue. So, Mike Tomlin, he's got to go 2-1 down the rest of the stretch if he's going to finish with a winning record, and I don't think he'll do it. So, first time in a long time. Steelers are a decent teaser leg, though, just to throw that out to get them out to 7.
Oh yeah,
I don't hate that. I'm just personally, I'm selling my own team. Like I'm ready to just watch the playoffs at this point. Speaking of playoffs, I think I had brunch the other day on Sunday before the games kicked off, and I made a bold Super Bowl prediction with my girlfriend's family that I think Super Bowl might end up being San Francisco and Buffalo. And those two teams looked awesome on Sunday. So speaking of the Bills, that's where the segue takes us to Saturday Night Football. Bills and Chargers. And dude, I would have died if this could have been Allen and Herbert, like 2 of my guys in the league. I just love watching them play. But it's something called Easton Stick under center. So whatever the points are, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills in this one.
No, I agree. I saw 10.5 and I was kind of like sketched a little bit, and I forgot, like you said, Herbert is out of the question. So, and we saw what the Raiders did to the Chargers last week. So the Bills can beat Dallas by 20 plus. I mean, they shouldn't have any issue with the Chargers, but yeah, give me the Bills and the points.
And I mean, there's 2 points to that. One, I think James Cook. I think that was like a legitimate, like, this is going to be one of our guys moving forward. That was like a showcase game for him. And the Chargers cannot stop the run if their life depends on it. So could be another big game for him. And then setting up play action off of that. But I will say, somebody, I can't remember who said this. Might have been Brad Spielberger from Pro Football Focus. He thinks this might be the greatest interim coach bump of all time. After seeing what the Chargers looked like against the Raiders, clearly Staley wasn't having these guys prepared. So whoever the fuck is stepping in is going to have them in a better spot. So kind of an interesting thought there. They can't be as bad as they were last Thursday. So now we get to wait and see. And it's Gip or Jip. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think he was one of their coordinators. I don't think he was offense, defense, maybe special teams. But yeah, going to see what that new coach bump looks like. But again, it can't be any worse than Brandon Staley. Ready to get into the Sunday games?
Yeah. And I was going to say, like last week, the Bills, they just kept running the rock. Josh Allen finished with under 100 yards passing.
Dude, I know. He had like 7 attempts at one point in the game, and I was like, not what I thought.
So yeah, look for him in his player props. I'll talk about that later. So
for sure. We got Lions favored on the road against the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, the spread's at 3. I think I'm going to roll with the Lions here. These two teams see each other twice over the next 3 weeks. So it could be a little interesting. And really, I think this comes down to if the Vikings can generate pressure with their blitzing. If they get to Goff, I think this could be a game that the Vikings steal. But I don't know if I'm really ready to buy into Nick Mullins. He's good enough to run that offense, but he'll also like be sacked and throw interception in the stomach of defensive tackles. So, give and take there. I like what I saw from the Lions last week. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, I agree. They looked good last week, but I don't know. Something like they're just a different team on the road. I feel like a lot of teams are, but I'm just not sold on the Lions as a road team. Like, especially like talking about the playoffs and stuff. I just don't know if I can trust them enough to win on the road.
Sure.
But this one's a little different. Like you said, Nick Mullins. So it could be a trap game, only being at 3 points. I think I would lean Detroit to just maybe squeak a game by winning by 4 points, but I don't know. That'll be a good one to watch. So
and I think right now, while it's at 3, you get the field goal push. So like that's probably what leans me a little bit. 3.5, you might be able to sell me on the Vikings being the better play here. And also to your note about it being on the road, this isn't a dome though. It's not like when you take Dallas out of the dome, like I think you saw Sunday, like they're a different team out in the weather, Right. So here it's still Detroit, and like climate controlled elements should have good footing. I think they'll be okay, but that is still something to monitor because I think Dallas is a different team when they're away from home. The Ravens don't play as good away from home. Like it's kind of a thing around a lot of different teams, which makes you get in the playoff picture and you're like, can anybody beat San Francisco if they're the 1 seed? Like I don't know. Anyways, Leaving this one, sounds like we're both taking the Lions. More NFC North action. The Packers are on the road taking on Carolina. I am happy to announce that I have the Green Bay Packers defense in my main fantasy league, so I am ready to see them get back on track. Absolutely need it. They looked like Swiss cheese last week against Baker. So I'll take the Packers here just because the Panthers suck. And they kind of need this win. But Mason, man, what do you think about your boy Baker Mayfield laying it into the Packers last week? He looked legit.
He looks legit, dude. Like, he's very small. Like, he can't see over his line, so like he tries his best. But no, he looks good, man. Like, I've been seeing a lot of blind like player resumes on TikTok, like who's the better player, and it's like some top guy, Mahomes, and then they show Baker. I think Baker's got better stats. And like, dude, he's out there balling this year. Like, it's crazy.
Like, I think he's gonna be their starter next year, right? Like, why move? I think you keep Dave Canales calling plays, and then you give Baker the reins for one more time.
But yeah, going back to the Packers and Panthers, Panthers are god awful.
They are coming off a win.
yeah, that is true against Arthur Smith and company. But Packers need to win now, so I think they're out of the playoffs at this point. Yep.
Other than the division, maybe.
Yeah. So they need to win. Should get the win. I'll happily take Packers -5.
I say the division. I think I might have seen the graphic that they have been eliminated. I think you're right. I think they might just be outright eliminated, which is
wait, who?
The Falcons.
Oh, the Falcons. Oh, maybe.
Oh, sorry. You were talking about something else. My bad.
You're good.
Connection went out.
Packers need to win.
Yeah, no. And so we got to talk about it. If we're talking about the Panthers, like to just see the stadium 20. I mean, the weather, no one's talking about it, but the weather was ass on Sunday. So like there was down to not be a lot of people going to that game, but 45-cent tickets, like you could sit bottom row for like $5. We showed up. Shit's crazy. Did you see that?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't have enjoyed it though. Like you said, it was raining and obviously a 7-6 ball game. Woohoo. Yeah.
And like, or 9-7 Carolina, and like all three of their drives, they like went. It felt like 15 plays down the field to settle for a field goal. Like they are the most struggle bus team I've ever watched on offense. It's putrid. So again, we're both on the Packers here. Then we get to Browns and Texans. Houston favored here, which leads me to think that means CJ Stroud's probably playing in this one. But this, man, again, if Deshaun Watson's healthy, this would have been interesting, like for a lot of different reasons. And then to see him go head to head with the guy who ultimately is replacing Deshaun Watson. But without that, man, I still think Flacco's playing. I mean, he played really bad for 3 quarters and then really awesome for 1 quarter, which was weird. I think Stroud coming back in the lineup, I think that's enough to get Texans another win. Look, they should not have won in Tennessee last week. That really was not a great start to that game. That first half was not pretty, but they just kind of gritted it out and won with Case Keenum. So if they can do that, I think they can win at home against this Cleveland team. But great offense versus a great defense really against a really good offense is really the way to put it. So really excited to see this matchup. Mason, what do you think?
Yeah, it'll be a good one. If Stroud's back, I'll gladly take the Texans, even without Stroud. But like you said, if the line's where it's at, you got to think Stroud's back. So that'd be good for football if he's back this week. But yeah, that Browns defense, man, it's good. The Bears looked okay. Fields looked okay against the defense last week, but I don't know, man. Don't trust the Browns enough though to take them. So yeah, I'll roll with the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was the full Flacco experience last week, which makes it really kind of hard to like, what are we going to get here? But also, like, this is another one of those teams where like people have done like home and away stats specifically for that defense, and it's still like a pretty good defense on the road, but it's elite at home with playing in Cleveland when it's cold and it's not great conditions and whatnot. So this is gonna be a good test. Can they like do it on the road inside of a dome stadium at NRG? Like this is gonna be a good test for them. So big prove it game there for Cleveland. And they're in the playoff picture. Both these teams are. So this is a huge game for playoff.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And
then we get to Colts and Falcons. So again, apologies to jump forward. I don't remember if I saw the Falcons are eliminated. So apologies for not knowing that. But the Colts are certainly in the playoff picture. And I'm old enough to remember when the Steelers were up 13-0 in that game. Good Lord, that didn't last long enough. I think Shane Steichen's gotten this team playing really, really well. So a ton of credit to what he's doing. And ultimately, I think Gardner Minshew is the better quarterback in this game. So he's getting a point here. So Falcons favored by 1 at home. I'm taking Indy. Mason, what do you think?
I'm also taking Indy. There's not much to talk about. Like you hit all the points there. But yeah, give me the Colts. They're just playing better football as of late. Falcons just dropped one to the Panthers. So you can kind of think they get it going a little bit here at home, but I don't know. Sure. The Colts are good. They're a good team to watch. I don't know. I feel like I made a lot of money on the Colts this year.
And if I'm honest, I'm telling you my side here. This is probably one I won't bet, just because the Colts have a good D line, but the Falcons have a good O line. And like they have enough, like Drake London's hard to bring down to space. And if the Colts' young corners struggle tackling in this game, I could see the Falcons rattling off a couple of chunk plays and then having enough to win. So like, I don't know. This is probably one I won't touch, but if I had to pick, I'd go Indy here.
Yeah, well, also too is Pittman out. So I know he got banged up last game. He might not be playing.
Yeah, concussion protocol is the last thing I saw. Last thing I saw was concussion protocol. So not a good look there. But yeah, hoping the best there because, dude, he's really emerged. Like, he'd be crazy not to resign. Once he got in that Shane Steichen offense, his stock's going to improve. So Indy should bring him back. He should want to go back. I think they're in a good situation there. Speaking of good situations, how about the Seattle Seahawks and an absolute must win? Drew Lock putting on his big boy pants on Monday Night Football. They're favored by 2.5 on the road against the Tennessee Titans. Mason, what do you think about this one?
I like the Seahawks big in this one. Titans are officially eliminated. They're not really playing for much. They're at home. I don't think it matters. We saw the Seahawks last night. They look really good. Defense played well. Drew Lock, like you said, played well last night. Showed up when it mattered. So I think they broke a. Did they have a 4-game losing streak?
It was the longest in Pete Carroll's. Yeah, longest in Pete Carroll's tenure. Which also it's like a 4-game losing streak. It's really not as long as you may think it is.
Right.
That's wild.
Right. Yeah. So they got a big win last night. I think they get a big win next week. They'll be in a good position after next week. I'm pretty confident in that one. So
I think this last week was the first time the Titans have lost in a true home game. So that's good. That kind of spells that potential talking point here. But also, like, I think this is a really interesting game for player props to bet. The Seahawks have had a hard time stopping the run this year. Derrick Henry should definitely get back on track after like 16 carries for like 12 yards or whatever it was last Sunday. But that being said, Tennessee's secondary is ass. Like, they are just garbage. So DK Metcalf, I'm spamming those lines. I might hit an alt receiving yards play for Tyler Lockett in case he gets a big play. And then I'm probably going to lean more into Jack Smith and Jigba, man. I feel like as the course of the season's played on, they've gotten him more and more involved, which has been exciting to see. So I'm spamming Seattle receivers and then Derrick Henry props in this one. I think they got good matchups there. And then we get to the Commanders and the Jets. How much a rhetoric can change in a span of like 10 days? Because it sounds like, oh, Rodgers is targeting this game to come back. You know, he's going to try to make his return against the Commanders. And now it's like, oh, well, now I'm really like 3 to 4 weeks away from being 100%. So I'm done. Like, the Jets get mathematically eliminated and he's gone. So all I have to say, these two teams have literally nothing to play for but draft capital. So I don't know which of these two teams sucks worse. I can't advise anybody to bet this. If you were betting this one, call 1-800-GAMBLING. You might have a bit of a problem. So I'm laying off. If I had to pick a side, give me the Jets defense. That's literally the only thing I can say about it.
Yeah, and people were saying that last week against Miami, and we saw how that defense worked out. So I feel like this is a good week to take the Jets defense.
Bounce back, yeah.
If I had to lean, I'm not betting it either, but if I had to lean, give me the under 37.5, dude. I know it's a low number, but dude, like, I don't think there's gonna be a lot of points scored in this game. Sam Howell's kind of falling off a little bit, as we kind of talked about in the group chat and stuff, but yeah, there's not much I'm really eyeing. So
well, I think the Howell point is like, actually, that's a great point to bring up because is it going to be Sam Howell in this game or is it going to be Jacoby Brissett? Because if it's Jacoby Brissett, I love the under 37 play. And honestly, even if it is Howell, still not a bad option. He just brings enough variance to where he could make a big play to where it's like, okay, 37's not a big enough number, maybe. But yeah, man, that Jets pass rush against that Commanders O-line's a problem. Yeah, those receivers might not have a hard time getting any separation against Sauce and DJ Reed. So yeah, this is just
you can do a teaser route too. Get the Commanders to +9 under 43.5,
and just assume that Zach Wilson or Trevor Siemian or whoever does not
whoever they throw out there. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I got a phone call during the middle of the call. I might have my tryout this week with the Jets. So next one we got to talk about a little Florida battle here. Jacksonville at Tampa Bay. Jaguars favored by 1. Like, I know the Bucs looked good last week, but I think I'm going to roll with the Jags here. I'd be interested to see what you thought about Sunday Night Football. That was one of the weirdest games to watch the Jags play because I felt like they were really clicking on offense. And then they got the Jamal Agnew touchdown, which should have been like the pressure release. And then they stopped moving the ball. Like, that was the moment of the game where the Ravens became the better side, which makes absolutely no sense. It was so weird to watch. But yeah, the Jacksonville Jaguars couldn't get out of their own way on Sunday Night Football. So I think they're the better side here. I'll take the Jags on the road. But Mason, let me know what you thought about Sunday Night Football and tell me what you think here, Jags and Bucs.
So I actually didn't watch the Sunday Night Football game.
It's fun.
I know. I heard it was good. I was kind of following on my phone, but
given a 23-7 score, that implies a boring game, but it was entertaining.
Okay. Yeah, but I like the Jags, even at the Bucs. And you know how much of a Buck lover I guess I am this year. I think the Jags, it's a good bounce back spot for them. I think they kind of get it rolling a little bit more, so we'll see.
This could be a big game for fantasy as well as for betting props. Both these secondaries have really struggled. So like Calvin Ridley, who like please playoff fantasy starts this week for my main league. I need Calvin Ridley to go crazy, but also like Mike Evans has been on a tear, and you know Tyson Campbell hasn't been who he was last year. So this could be a big game for him too. So keep it out there for DFS, your fantasy playoffs, as well as betting markets. Could be a big day for those receivers. Then we get to Cowboys and Dolphins in Miami. Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one, Mason. Buy me some time here. What are your initial thoughts on here? Dallas at Miami.
See, if Dallas had won last week, I'd be all over the Dolphins.
Right, and now you kind of want to flip it.
Right, so now it's tough, but like the Dolphins at home, man. I'm assuming Tyreek will be back this week. I'm assuming Waddle will be healthy.
Yeah.
The defense has been playing well, so that's gonna be a really good game. I'm not sure, honestly. Like I'm kind of with you on picking a side. If I had to lean, just that the Dolphins haven't been able to beat a solid team this year. Give me the Cowboys on the road. But it's gonna be a good one. Over unders at 51. They're expecting a lot of points. Sneaky under though. Could be a sneaky under.
No, I'm with you on that. Like I could see all the hype being about like these two offenses and when they're at their best, blah 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 blah, building it up and whatnot. I think I'm gonna take Miami. I don't know, but you mentioned it, and I can't buy into either one of these two teams in a big game because Dallas beat Philadelphia. But they beat Philadelphia in the middle of a losing streak, and they beat the Eagles in their home game, not the one in Philly. Like that would have meant more to me if they did it on the road. And then they go get freaking punched in the mouth in Buffalo. And then Miami, like every big game they've had, they've choked. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think Tua gets rid of the ball fast enough to where I'm not really worried about Dallas's pass rush. And if I'm not worried about Dallas's pass rush, it's still a good secondary, but it takes a little bit of the luster away from that defense. So I think I'm going to take Miami. I'll lay the 1.5 here with Miami. I can totally see where Dallas is a good teaser line here. Get them out to 7.5. I can see where that's a good play too. But yeah, if Tyreek's playing in this one, there's just no player in the world that can kind of match that speed. So I'll take the Dolphins at home.
Well, yeah, you got the receiving threat, and then like we saw last week, Dallas can't stop the run. So like now you have A-Chain and Mostert, the double-headed weapon. Like you don't know what they're going to throw at you. So it'll be a good offensive scheme for both sides. So
speaking of Mostert, so talking about my main fantasy league, I have Mostert and CMC in that league, the two leading touchdown scorers in the NFL. Mostert, I don't remember what round, like 14th, like. I just took him because like Jeff Wilson was hurt at the beginning of the year, and I was like, okay, he'll get early touches. And then CMC fell to me the 6th overall pick. The 6th overall. Wow. And this is like a try-hard league, but it's more receiver heavy. So that's why he fell a little bit. But yeah, God bless, because that has saved me this year. Considering I drafted Justin Fields and Anthony Richardson and had to start Jordan Love for a long time.
Oh, God.
Anyways, let's get off my little diatribe here. Cardinals and Bears battle for the number 1 overall pick here. It's not the Bears pick that's going to get them there. It's going to be the Carolina Panthers pick that they own. But Arizona's still kind of in that realm. Really, this becomes two teams that if you could just drop Marvin Harrison Jr. on these two rosters, like, oh my God, it'd make them so much better. So this is really the Marvin Harrison Jr. Bowl, in all honesty. So Bears favored by 4 at home. I think Fields has looked a little better since his return. I don't know. Last week's just too up and down, man. A couple throws that he missed, and I'm like, dude, you can't miss that throw, Justin. But then you also have Robert Tonyan dropping 6 points, and it's like, what's going on? So I don't know. They're too inconsistent. I'll take the Bears at home. I think the Cardinals want to lose this game too, so that's kind of why I lean in that way.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'll take the Bears too. Field is doing his job as best as he can do. So they looked pretty good against the Browns last week. So now you got the Cardinals at home. Yeah, give me the Bears. Not much to say, but
this is one that I can see break either way. I really advise no one touch this game.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Not a good one to bet. I can't give you a strong lean here. Pats Broncos. Man,
Sunday night.
Yeah, Broncos favored by 6. They need this game really bad, so I think they're a good teaser leg. Get them down to a pick 'em. Yeah, but I don't know. Going against that New England defense is a risky proposition. So, I really only like the Broncos as a teaser leg here. I can't advise much more, especially considering I was really in on the Broncos getting the upset win last Saturday, and that did not happen. So, based on this one, you think the Patriots keep it cheeky here, or you think they're stomping towards that number 1 overall pick with an L here?
I think we cover the 6, honestly.
Okay.
Something about primetime, Christmas Eve, Sunday night. I think Belichick tries to keep it close. Obviously, he has no right to what happens on the field, but just a coaching thing. But I think we covered the 6 points. I think we still lose this game. Like you said, Broncos need this one bad. So I can see them winning, I don't know, like 21-17, something like that. So, okay. Yeah, I think the Broncos have looked good. Obviously not last weekend against the Detroit Lions, but we'll see. Obviously, I'll be rooting for the Broncos. So
trying to get that Drake May pick, I know. So what's the status on Ramondre Stevenson?
I checked my fantasy because he's on my fantasy team, and I don't think he's going to play.
Okay. Well, Zeke might be an interesting prop here, or fantasy player, DFS, whatever. The Broncos have just really struggled against the ground, stopping the run. I mean, we saw that with Jahmyr Gibbs running crazy on him last week. And then they made the Vikings rushing attack look pretty good like a handful of weeks ago. So maybe a Zeke Elliott type of parlay you can put together here, or you're picking them up in DFS or something like that. Someone to keep an eye out on. Last time we did see Bailey Zappi in primetime, he looked pretty good, but I think Pittsburgh's secondary will do that to a lot of teams. So I don't know how much I want to buy into it here. Anyways, now let's get on to the first. Are you seeing 3 Monday games? Yeah, we got 3 Monday games. Cool. So obviously, early Merry Christmas to everybody. We get Giants. And first Monday game is Raiders and Chiefs. Good to see the Chiefs get back on track, especially against a good defense. Rashee Rice, I think at this point is like making a staple that like he's the top receiver. Have I told you my hot take about Travis Kelce in his retirement? Okay, I don't know how hot take it is per se, but I think him and Jason retired this year.
Maybe you did. Maybe I did hear you say that.
Okay. I thought I might have told you and JT. I don't know if I've done anything on the channel yet, but I think Jason's going to retire. I think Travis is going to retire with him. I think he's ready.
Dude, that's crazy if that happens. Are they up there?
I know, but Jason is. They've done so much as brothers, man. And they got their podcast. He's got Taylor Swift for his,
They've got enough money
with the rumors.
They're fine. They don't need anything else.
Totally. Yeah.
I can hear it.
But as for this game, 10 points is a lot. Honestly, I think Antonio Pierce can keep it close enough. Give me 27-20 Chiefs. I still think it's like a strong Chiefs win, but I think the Raiders will do just enough to keep it interesting. I'm interested to see what Aiden O'Connell looks like against this Chiefs defense. So I'll take the Raiders to cover the spread. I'll take the Chiefs to win. Mason, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm going the same direction as you. 10 points is a lot, especially for a divisional matchup. It's been a long time since I feel like the Chiefs have beaten somebody by more than 10. Could be wrong though. It's been a while.
I have to look it up. Other than Sunday, didn't they win by double digits Sunday?
They might have. Yeah. But going back, this Chiefs team is just, thinking about all the years prior, like this is like a very beatable Chiefs team. Like we've seen them drop some that we didn't expect them to drop. So I'm not saying the Raiders are going to win this game. But yeah, I think they covered the 10 points.
I like it. All right, middle of Monday games. Eagles hosting the New York Giants, favored by 11.5. Mason, are you touching this game? Any bets? Any leans here?
No, I mean the Eagles will win this game. It's just a matter of how much. I know Jalen Hurts was sick last night, but they had no issue scoring that first opening drive. But you know what I mean? And then just nothing was clicking after that. So you gotta assume Jalen Hurts gets healthy next week. You gotta think the Eagles, wide receivers, get it going against this New York Giants secondary. So definitely not touching it. But I mean, the Eagles are going to win this game.
Yeah, I like the Eagles to win, but I don't know if they can do 12. Like you said, they marched down the field in that opening drive. I'm like, oh God, yeah, here we go. Yeah. This is going to be a Jalen Hurts flu game. Okay, damn, like this is going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. And then they feel like, I talked about this in my power rankings video. They feel like, have you ever driven in stick shift?
No.
Have you ever tried?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, imagine Mason behind the wheel of a stick shift car. Like that's what it feels like the Eagles are right now. Like they want to get going, and it's just like it's herky jerky, and you just can't get it into a full motion. Versus someone who knows how to drive stick, it can be really, really smooth. I feel like that's where the Eagles are right now. They just haven't found that rhythm. So Brian Johnson, their OC, has got to get it figured out. Also, can we talk about? Gotta talk about it with my New England Patriots fan, Matt Patricia.
Did you look good, dude? I mean, the defense.
I had no idea.
No, I didn't either. I saw him on the sideline. I was like, wait a minute, what?
I saw Rappaport's tweet, and I was like, 2 pieces of news here. Patricia's their play caller, and Patricia coaches for the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, oh shit, that's crazy. I had no idea. But hey, maybe that gets some fixes here. We'll see if Tommy DeVito, the man himself, can get back on track here, representing Italian America. Did not look very good against the New Orleans Saints. And then last game to talk about, Ravens 49ers. So I think probably the best game of the week, at least up there. That and the Dallas Miami game is probably its top competitor, but obviously a Super Bowl rematch from, I guess, 5-6 years ago. I don't have the exact date in front of me, but when the lights turned off and Kaepernick's starting for the 49ers, Flacco gets his ring. But I mean, there's a lot of people saying that these are the two best teams in their respective conferences. So potential Super Bowl preview here. 49ers favored by 5. How crazy is that? Potential Super Bowl matchup, and the 49ers are favored by 5. And they're at home, and even crazier than that, I'm taking San Francisco to cover that. I think they win this game pretty handily, if I'm honest. I really do.
See, I wanna believe that. I wanna buy into that. I think I'm gonna go against. Yeah, I'll go against that. I kind of feel like the Ravens are gonna cover this one.
Okay, do you think they win?
I don't know if they win, but I could see a 3-4 point W by the Niners. It's going to be a really good game to watch, especially. I'll probably put something on it. Just not quite there yet on what I want to do, but I think I lean Ravens to keep it close. 5's too much, and you could always do a teaser leg, get them out to +10 or +11, whatever it is. It's going to be a good one. Spicy matchup for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, Mike McDonald's been an awesome DC this year for Baltimore. So, like, him versus Shanahan, like, I think that's like, dude, I want to see what if he can slow down the San Francisco offense, like, this is his national, like, make me a head coach game. Like, this is his chance to, like, fully be put on that spotlight. But I just worry about, like, Lamar. Obviously, when you take away his rushing ability, it's just like it's a big part of the offense to lose. And, like, San Francisco has so many good athletes. I feel like that's going to limit how much Lamar can do with his legs. Not that he can't win through the air, but it's a huge chunk of the offense to take away. Plus, Keaton Mitchell, dude, that injury sucked. I know you didn't see the game, but yeah, he blew up. Yeah, that was not a pretty one. And it sucked for a speed guy.
Okay, I didn't know that. I might have to change my pick. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. But, like, that being said, like, John Harbaugh, coach, man, like, he always has them ready to go in these games. Like,
I just feel like everybody's going to be on the Niners. That's why I'm like, I'm going to get the Ravens.
Totally. And, like, I'm saying I'm on the Niners and I'm taking 5. Like, I could see this by kickoff getting out to 6. Like, I could easily see getting out to 6. And maybe, at that point, I'm like, hey, maybe Baltimore's the side here. But honestly, I'm probably going to play an alt spread with, like, San Francisco 13.5. Yeah, like, I'm going to juice this one. I think they run away with it, if I'm honest. But
all right,
I've been wrong.
Can we talk about, though? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
What'd you say?
Can we talk about how Christian McCaffrey should be number 1 in the MVP?
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Dude, the first year he's been healthy. He hasn't missed a game. He's putting up insane numbers like we just saw last week. Like, it's ridiculous. I know it's Purdy at the top right now, but I don't know, dude. I feel like McCaffrey should have the edge. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, and I mean, the MVP this year, I think, is highlighting a larger issue that the award is flawed in itself, which, I mean, a lot of people have been saying that for a long time. But honestly, I think the NFL should probably move towards, like, college awards where you can just segment it like best quarterback, best running back. And, like, I know you have all pro teams, but, like, ask your average fan who was a first team all pro D tackle last year. They don't know shit. But if you put a specific award around it, there might be a little bit more notoriety. I also think it makes it a little easier to be like, Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in football. Kyle Shanahan wins Coach of the Year, so we don't need to give Brock Purdy the MVP. We've already highlighted this team's successes, and
exactly.
I don't know though, but, like, me and JT, and I think you were on the show. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We were talking about, like, should Tyreek Hill win MVP? And, like, honestly, I was in a point where I was like, yeah. But then we go see the Dolphins 30-0 without him. I know it's against the Jets, but it's like, damn, I don't know. I still think there's a world where maybe Tyreek can do it. Like, if he breaks the 2,000 mark, missing a game, does it in 16 games, that's pretty wild. Like, that'd be cool. CMC's got a good case, and, like, Dak, I think, just lost his, running in the grand scheme of things. I think it's probably too late for Josh Allen to get in it. Patrick Mahomes,
I don't know. A lot of people are saying he's kind of, a lot of people are saying he's kind of creeping up there now after the late surge. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We're seeing a lot of good guys that deserve it for sure. But like you said, it's very flawed. So
yeah, and I think our awareness of football is just so enhanced to where if you just can't give it to the quarterback on the best team with the best record. Like, you just can't do that anymore because everyone's going to say, well, Purdy has Shanahan. Well, he's got Debo. Well, he's got all these things. And, like, it'd be the case with a lot of other quarterbacks, you'd say too. So, like, I don't know. There's just too much awareness about everything that goes around it. So I think they kind of need to just take a step back and say, like, what would act, and also, like, some of the NFL, like the Bud Light Selly, who cares? Like, make an actual award. Like, I don't know. It's just a sponsorship thing so the NFL can get more money. Like, they need that. Anyways, diatribe aside, let me get out of here and let's talk locks of the week. So I had my teaser hit last week. Shout out to Houston winning that game. I could have had them lose by 8.5. So that was a fun way to end off last week. It was the Vikings as the other leg of that. Mason, I'm still actually looking for a play here. Do you have one in mind for this week?
Yeah, I'm also crafting, but definitely got the Seahawks money line as one leg.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Will Levis plays in that game, by the way. We didn't mention that. He did have that injury late, but I think he's going to end up being okay.
Okay.
So definitely something to note there. Man, these lines are sharp, man. I'll tell you that.
All right. I got mine.
Okay, let me hear it.
Just another typical three-legger money line. So give me the Seahawks over the Titans, Jags over the Bucks, and Broncos over the Patriots at plus 342.
Ooh, I like that. You know I'm the teaser guy. I'm actually going to go two-team parlay here. And I'm a little nervous about it, even though I like these teams and I can't see how they lose. Packers at Carolina, Seahawks
yeah, that's a good one.
at Tennessee. That comes out to plus 146. Those two teams,
Okay.
two road teams, but they're road favorites. I like it. I'm a little interested why Seattle's only minus 2.5, and they might have Geno back next week too. Like I think they might only be getting better. So I don't know. Something there. Yeah, that's gonna be my lock of the week. Packers, Seahawks. Mason, say your three-teamer one more time.
Seahawks. I already closed it out. Hang on. Seahawks. What did I say? I'm like totally like ruining your video right now.
No, you're good.
Jags. And who was the last one? Oh, Broncos. Okay. Seahawks, Jags, Broncos.
I like it. Well, and we've talked about a handful of player props. Some of the other ones I'll keep my eyes out on. Kind of intrigued by Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just when the Lions are rolling, man, he's at the center of it. So another interesting leg. We talked about Evans, Ridley. Another interesting week, as always, for like Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, those guys who you're always talking about, especially Tyreek if he's healthy. I could see him being a big focal point. So talked about a handful of other players throughout the episode. But any other last bets you wanted to shout out for the good people?
You shouted the Packers. I totally forgot about the Packers. I like the Packers this week big. Player props, Josh Allen. I think he gets it going.
Sure.
Could see Bijan and Jonathan Taylor. The return of Jonathan Taylor this week. So those two going head to head. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, no doubt. And then maybe some individual player sacks. Like anytime somebody's playing against Washington, I always check that market just because even if it's Jacoby Brissett, that offensive line's still not great. But especially if it's Sam Howell, like which Ron Rivera said after the game, he remains the starter. So we'll see. But if Howell's starting, he's like record pace right now for most sacks in the season. So I will definitely keep an eye on, John Franklin Myers, Quinn Williams, and all those guys for the Jets. So another avenue there. But guys, that's going to do it for the Week 16 preview of the Hurry Up Offense. I want to say thank you to Mason for joining me, and sorry for everyone who missed out on JT and the hot takes he might have brought to the table this week. But he should be back next week as we preview Week 17. So should Mason as well as myself. So be sure to come back next week yourself and get ready for Week 17 of the NFL season. And of course, at that point, we're talking playoffs heavy in that episode. We already have a couple teams who can clinch this week, but next week's win, it really starts to get good. What's up?
I actually will not be here next week because
okay. Early announcement.
Yeah, I'm getting my wisdom teeth out a week from today.
Oh, wow.
So I'm definitely not going to be able to talk, so I will not be here next week.
Wow. The lock of the week is me rolling my ass. I'm going to be dying when Maddie sends me videos of you. I cannot wait to see this now. So, well, best of luck with that because that's not a fun experience. I can tell you that one. So, best of luck, Mason. But sounds like it's going to be me and JT next week. So be sure to come back and join us when we do preview Week 17 of the NFL season. But until then, we are signing off.